Welcome back to the Rooted Wild podcast. I'm Katherine Winkles, a certified recreation therapist. And this space is where we explore nervous system care, recreation therapy, and sustainable ways of living well through nature, movement, creativity, rest, and compassionate self-understanding. In the last episode, we talked about how chronic pain can affect identity, roles, and meaning in daily life. Today, we're shifting into something very practical. Something that affects how we move through every hour of our day. This episode is called Sensory Regulation Across the Day. We're going to talk about how your nervous system constantly processes sensory information, why certain environments feel calming while others feel overwhelming, and how something called a sensory diet can help stabilize your nervous system throughout the day. If you've ever wondered why certain sounds, lights, textures, or environments change how you feel, this episode will help explain why. Before we dive into the science, let's take a moment to notice your environment. Look around your space and gently notice the lighting, the sounds around you, the temperature of the air, how your body is positioned, whether your clothing or surroundings feel comfortable. Our nervous systems are constantly responding to these cues, and often small environmental adjustments can shift how our bodies feel without requiring more effort or willpower. Take a slow breath in and a longer breath out. Let's talk about why this matters. Your nervous system is always listening. Your brain is constantly receiving sensory information from both your body and the environment. This includes signals from vision, hearing, touch, temperature, movement, and internal body sensations like hunger, fatigue, or pain. The nervous system processes this information largely outside of conscious awareness. From a neuropsychological perspective, structures like the thalamus, insula, and limbic system help interpret sensory signals and determine whether they represent safety, threat, or neutral information. This process is often referred to as neuroception, a term introduced by neuroscientist Stephen Porges. Neuroception describes the nervous system's ability to detect cues of safety or danger without conscious thought. For example, harsh light might increase tension, a sudden loud noise might trigger alertness, rhythmic sounds might help the body relax, while soft textures might signal comfort. These responses happen quickly because they are designed to support survival. But in modern environments, which often include constant noise, bright lighting, screens, and time pressure, the nervous system can be overwhelmed. Sensory processing and nervous system states. When the brain receives sensory input, it integrates that information with emotional and physiological responses. This means sensory experiences can influence whether your nervous system moves toward regulation, activation, or shutdown. For example, when sensory input is predictable and moderate, it often supports regulation. But when input becomes too intense, too unpredictable, or too constant, the nervous system may shift into stress responses. This can show up as irritability, anxiety, fatigue, headaches, difficulty concentrating, or sensory overwhelm. For individuals living with chronic stress, trauma, neurodivergence, or chronic pain, the nervous system may be even more sensitive to sensory input. This isn't a weakness. It's a reflection of a nervous system that has adapted to protect you. So what is a sensory diet? The term sensory diet comes from occupational therapy and sensory integration theory. It refers to a structured set of sensory experiences intentionally incorporated throughout the day to support regulation and attention. Just like nutritional diets support physical health, sensory diets support the nervous system balance. A sensory diet might include activities related to movement, pressure, sound, light, touch, rhythm, and temperature. Rather than waiting until you feel overwhelmed, sensory regulation works best when it's distributed throughout the day in small moments. This approach helps prevent the nervous system from becoming too overloaded in the first place. Ecopsychology and sensory regulation. Ecopsychology research suggests that natural environments provide sensory input that is particularly regulating for the nervous system. Environmental psychologists Rachel and Stephen Kaplan developed attention restoration theory, which proposes that natural settings help restore cognitive capacity and reduce mental fatigue. Natural environments tend to include soft visual patterns, fractal shapes found in plants and landscapes, gentle movement like wind or water, and varied but non-overwhelming sounds. These sensory qualities can help the nervous system shift out of high alert states. Research has also shown that exposure to natural environments can reduce cortisol levels, lower blood pressure, improve mood, and in addition, enhance attention and memory. Even brief nature exposure, like looking at greenery through a window or stepping outside for a few minutes, can create measurable shifts in nervous system regulation. Sensory channels you can work with. Let's look at several sensory channels you can intentionally support throughout the day. First up is light. Natural light helps regulate circadian rhythm and mood. Morning sunlight exposure has been shown to support serotonin production and sleep-wake cycles. Then you have sound. Sound influences nervous system state through rhythm and predictability. Calming sounds might include music, nature recordings, and consistent ambient noise. You also have touch and pressure. Deep pressure and comforting textures can activate parasympathetic responses. This includes weighted blankets, warm clothing, soft fabrics, self-hugs, or gentle stretching. Movement is also important, as movement provides proprioceptive input that helps the brain orient to the body in space. Gentle walking, stretching, or rocking movements can help discharge stress activation. Temperature. Warmth often promotes relaxation, while cool air can increase alertness. Next up, we have rhythm, which is deeply regulating for the nervous system. Activities such as walking, breathing exercises, drumming, or rocking introduce predictable patterns that support regulation. Building your own sensory supports. You might experiment with adding small sensory supports throughout your day. For example, in the morning, sunlight exposure, stretching, and warm tea. In the midday, stepping outside, listening to music, and brief movement. And in the evening, dimmer lighting, calming sounds, and warm showers or blankets. The goal is not perfection. It's noticing what helps your body feel more settled, focused, or supported. Take a moment to consider. Which sensory environments help you feel calm? Which environments feel overwhelming? What small sensory supports might your nervous system need today? These answers may change over time, and that's okay. Your nervous system is dynamic. Sensory regulation is one of the most powerful and accessible ways to support nervous system stability. Often, small environmental shifts can have a meaningful impact on how your body experiences stress, focus, and rest. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love to continue the conversation. You can find additional resources, worksheets, and guided practices on my website, rootedwildretreats.com, and follow me on Instagram at rooted_wild_retreats for updates and new tools. If you found this episode helpful, consider sharing it with someone who might benefit or leaving a review. It helps this podcast reach more people who are learning how to live well with changing bodies and nervous systems. Until next time, stay wild.